And because of that, he has the police is protecting him. So come to Paris. This imam lives in Paris. So we are working together in a different way. We have some people here. In Ueckermünde we had a March of Life, and we are working together with the mayor of Ueckermünde. It's very diverse.
In einer Partei rechtsradikale Gedanken erlaubt sind und das Gedenken an den Holocaust relativiert in Frage gestellt
If there are right-wing thoughts, we would not work together with them, but we are working with different communities and parties. We want to make a stand against anti-Semitism, and we want to make a stand for Israel. And one of the central statements is, as long as there are descendants of Holocaust survivors who have to live under the shadow of the Holocaust, because traumata are transported from one generation to the others, our responsibility has not ended yet. And churches and free churches, we don't want to live in silence anymore like it has been. We want to break anti-Semitism, and we want to raise our voices and make a stand for Israel. And this is the end of my statements. So I wish you a wonderful evening, and I'm very glad to announce Bożena Gazarowski, President of Helping Hands Ministries and head of Holocaust networks in Israel.
Shalom and good evening to everyone.
Shalom und guten Abend alle zusammen.
Dear pastors, Charlotte and Jobs Bittners,
Liebe Pastoren Jobs und
church,
Charlotte Bittner, ihr Gemeindemitglieder,
dear speakers,
liebe Sprecher,
representatives of the local government,
Vertretung der örtlichen Regierung,
international and German guests.
auch internationale und deutsche Gäste.
It's my honor to be here and to take part in the conference of March of Life.
Es ist meine Ehre, hier zu sein und an dieser Konferenz Marsch des Lebens teilzunehmen.
And I would like to bring you greetings from Israel,
Und ich möchte gerne Grüße überbringen aus Israel,
especially from Chairman, my husband, of Helping Hand Coalition and Global Forum,
und ganz besonders vom Vorsitzenden der Helping Hand Coalition Global Forum, von meinem
Dr.
Mann,
Andrzej Gasiorowski,
Dr. Andrzej
who was
Gasiorowski.
here last year and had a very good impression and gave me very good report about this conference.
Der letztes Jahr hier auf der Konferenz war, einen sehr guten Eindruck gewonnen hat und mir wunderbare Dinge erzählt hat.
Helping Hand Coalition and Global Forum has a few years of wonderful, fruitful collaboration in the land of Israel in the subject of Holocaust survivors.
Und Global Forum und Helping Hand Coalition hat schon seit einigen Jahren eine sehr fruchtbringende Zusammenarbeit gehabt mit allem, was die Arbeit für Holocaust-Überlebende betrifft.
And after decades of fruitful work, Helping Hand Coalition established Helping Hand Global Forum as a federation of 250 organizations.
Und nachdem sie Jahrzehnte die Arbeit relativ alleine getan haben, haben sie dann einen Dachverband Global Forum gegründet.
In those organizations we have survivors from Holocaust, for example, Hazit Hakavot, and with 70,000 members.
Und in diesem Dachverband sind auch Organisationen mit eingeschlossen, die selber mit Holocaust-Überlebenden zusammenarbeiten. Zum Beispiel eine israelische Organisation, die mit 70.000 die Vertretung für 70.000 Holocaust-Überlebende ist.
And the others are refugees and fighters.
Und die anderen sind Flüchtlinge, die durch den Nationalsozialismus vertrieben wurden oder gegen den Nationalsozialismus gekämpft haben.
Also among those organizations are different regional organizations. For example, Federation of Jews from Poland, from Ukraine, Belarus, Morocco.
Und es gibt auch einzelne nationale und regionale Verbände, die sich dort mit angeschlossen hatten. Zum Beispiel die Vertretungen von Juden aus der Ukraine, aus Weißrussland, Polen oder Marokko.
And we also collaborate with the networks from all over the world, and especially in the area of humanitarian help and different Israelis issues and media.
Und wir arbeiten auch mit anderen Netzwerken und Organisationen zusammen, besonders im Bereich der humanitären Hilfe, im Bereich von Medien.
And as we know, media has a very big importance these days, so we also partner with a new TBN Poland, which is a Christian-based network, TV network.
Und da wir alle wissen, dass Medien heutzutage sehr, sehr wichtig sind, arbeiten wir auch mit verschiedenen Medienkooperationen zusammen, unter anderem zum Beispiel TBN Poland, das neu gegründet wurde. Das ist ein christliches Fernsehnetzwerk in Polen.
These worldwide Christian networks already broadcasting through about 90 satellites to about 18,000 televisions and different networking, reaching almost 800 million viewers and almost 95% household in America.
Und dieses Netzwerk, das gehört dann zu einem weltweiten Netzwerk, die über 90 Satelliten ihre Programme weltweit ausstrahlen und sie erreichen Hunderte von Millionen von Haushalten weltweit.
March of Life for us has a, like for many of you, has a very, very important meaning.
Und für uns alle, wie für Sie auch, hat der Marsch des Lebens eine sehr, sehr große Bedeutung.
It shows how to turn the evil deeds of the past into the meaningful message of today, bringing reconciliation, bringing hope for the future generation.
Und daraus lernen wir, wie wir die Vergangenheit, die üble Vergangenheit anschauen können und wie sie umgewandelt werden kann in eine bedeutungsvolle, hoffnungsvolle Zukunft.
That's why we want to stand with you.
Und aus diesem Grund möchten wir zusammen mit Ihnen
And we want to
aufstehen.
continue allying our strength, and especially right now when we're preparing for 2018 and March of Life in Israel and worldwide.
Und wir wollen deswegen unsere Kräfte vereinen und gemeinsam aufstehen, vor allem im Hinblick auf 2018, wenn wir gemeinsam für Israel und in Israel aufstehen werden.
And we know that TBN will be with us, and they will go to those houses, to those households that will be not able to come and participate physically.
Und wir wissen, dass TBN uns begleiten wird und sie werden die Botschaft in alle Haushalte bringen, die nicht selber bei uns sein können an diesem besonderen Tag.
We said we want to have 6 million. Let's even focus and strive for more.
Wir haben gesagt, wir wollen mindestens 6 Millionen haben, die dabei sind, aber lasst uns doch unsere Anstrengungen vereinen und noch höher streben.
However, it was something in the morning that touched my heart when your pastor said,
Aber heute Morgen gab es etwas ganz Besonderes, das mein Herz berührt hat, als euer Pastor Jobs gesprochen hat.
that while we're striving for the big and very important goal, let us not forget about the process that we have to go through, because through this process, we're changing the reality around us.
Weil während wir uns nach den großen und wichtigen Zielen ausstrecken, dürfen wir nicht den Prozess vergessen, der uns dort überhaupt erst hinbringt.
And this small reality around us is contagious.
Und der die
Goes to
Realität-
other people, to the family, to the members, to the city, and it spread all over.
Der die Realität beeinflusst und prägt. Und diese Realität ist es, was unsere Familien, die Menschen um uns herum, das ganze Umfeld nachhaltig verändert.
So let's concentrate. I know that today is going to be day given for the March of Life.
Und
So-
deswegen lasst uns unsere Anstrengungen konzentrieren und wir wissen, dass dieser Tag für den Marsch des
We
Lebens
keep
da
our
ist.
fingers crossed, waiting for the date.
Und wir halten die Daumen gedrückt, wir warten auf das Datum für den großen Marsch.
And let's concentrate on our goals. Thank you
Und
very
wir wollen
much.
uns auf unsere Ziele ausrichten. Vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank, Božena. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Božena.
So, ich freue mich eigentlich
So I'm really happy, especially
über die großen Zahlen, sondern
not about the great numbers,
Landesrabbiner
but that the
Wormser
Rabbi Nathaniel Wormser is coming to us. He's not here yet, but because it's Shabbat, he is coming around 9. And I forgot to tell you, but we're really looking forward to him coming. And I'm happy,
vor allen Dingen
mainly also that
Obi Boris Palmer hier
that our mayor, Boris Palmer, is here. So you realize you have a lot of fans here. So we're really happy that you came, and we believe that you're a blessing for the city, and we see it. We are praying for you, and we are grateful for you coming. A warm welcome to you, Boris Palmer.
Sehr geehrte Frau Gajarowski, sehr
Dear
geehrter
Ms.
Ilatov, sehr geehrter
Gazarowski, Mr. Ilatov, Herr Bittner, Mr. Bittner, dear guests from close and far, dear Tübingers,
zuerst was
I
hier sagen für die
have to say something for the people that come from here. In Tübingen, we have a discussion when the city finally is getting a congress center and a cultural hall. It seems the people have never been here before that demand this. So I am really impressed when I come in here from the atmosphere, and it's obviously a really good place to have a conference like this here. So, but now it's going to be serious. So it's a very serious issue. We spoke about it before. If there is a party where there are leading members saying that the Holocaust Memorial is a memorial of shame, then it's really time to clearly say no and to oppose this. He who says something like this, he wants another Germany, isolating himself in Germany, and it doesn't belong to the Germany that we have. And this is what we have to tell these people. You are a different Germany. You're not living in the country that we want to live in. So we're not going to allow this, that the country is going to isolate itself again like it did before. There is no question about this. And sadly, we have to admit that he's not alone, but it's been going for years of attacks towards Jews that it's rising. Sadly, also Islamistic attacks. We have to say that to add it up to the truth. But here it's true also. We have to be determined stepping up against it. It cannot be that people wearing a kippah are having to fear once they go to the streets. We will not allow this. And a third thing I want to say, Mr. Ilatov, it is true still, Germany is standing as a true friend at the side of Israel for today and for the future. Sadly, I was not able to be here. What kind of story you as a survivor of the Holocaust have to share. But maybe I can imagine what it means. In the Tübinger mayor's house, we invited him to come to tell a story of Moshe Langer, who went through 5 concentration camps and several death marches. So he told me stairs. And was severely sick, but he was saved shortly before the end of the war. And I know how much it touches and how hard it is to imagine that people could bear this and survived it. And it impresses me again and again. It was the same for Moshe Langer, that people, despite of having experienced all of this, are just shining, full of joy. And that's really great. And I'm happy that you're here and that I was able to experience your life and you for only a short moment, but still. So I believe that Tübingen is a good place to have a conference like this. Tübingen is a good place to organize a March of Life. So this is why I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who make this possible, who are the driving forces, who finances, who work for it. That a march like this can take place. This is great. And it deserves an applause. Please do it louder than before for me, because it's very embarrassing to have a standing ovation just because I'm coming. So please stand up and give an applause for everybody who is taking part of this and making it possible.
Sehr gut. Sehr gut.
Very good. Very good. That was longer.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you very much.
Erfolgreiche Konferenz, gute Gespräche und sehen Sie noch bitte
So I wish you a great conference.
Der kommt später. Ich gehe dafür früher. Wir haben andere terminliche Verpflichtungen.
So we have another date, so I have to go somewhere else that was planned before, so I'm sorry that I have to leave. But all the best for you.
Vielen Dank, Boris Palmer.
Thank you, Boris Palmer.
Große Freude.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. So we're going to take that aside because we're going to start something very special now. So we're going to hear the Hatikva rap.
Nicht das Rap zum Essen.
So not the rap to eat, but the Hatikva rap. So we have it on the internet, and over Facebook and YouTube, it's really spread so quickly, 600,000 views. So it's very known in Israel. We've been inviting to schools to present it and talk to students. So please come to the front. Hatikva rap.
נפש יהודי הומיה ולפת מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה Israel, Volk Gottes, erwählt und doch verstoßen. Die ganze Welt hasst dich und das ist noch der Lohn, denn du hast alles Leid gesehen. Und der Neid der vielen kostete Millionen von Seelen. Der einst Geliebten, doch schäme dich nicht deiner Schönheit, denn du sollst leben. Einer nahm das Land von den Feinden und hat es dir gegeben. Trotz Genozid und Holocaust bist du auferstanden von toten Gebeinen, hochgeholt und verwandelt. Jetzt bist du wieder an deinem rechten Platz als Licht in dieser durchkämpften Nacht. Wieder ist es finster in der Welt, doch solange du atmest, scheint ein Licht, das uns erhält. Ja, du bist wahrhaftig die Hoffnung der Nationen und für das, was du hast, wird dich jedes Land noch loben. Segen auf Israel und Frieden für die Nachbarn. Er hat dich auserwählt, mit ihm ist alles machbar. Und lo after tikvatenu hatikva שנות אלפיים
unbrechbare Mauer vor dem Auge erscheint und über die Zerstörung des Tempels ein Jude Tränen weint, solange das Wasser in Fülle im Jordan fließt und du der Erinnerung gedenkst und nach vorne siehst, solange eine jüdische Seele in deinem Herzen wohnt. Augen nach Zion gerichtet, das auf dem Berge thront. So lang gibt es Hoffnung seit 2000 Jahren. Ein freies Volk in seinem Land, Zion, Jerusalem. Kehre heim, Israel, weil du dann Frieden hast. Dein Arzt wohnt in Jerusalem und Balsam ist in Gilead. Dein Arzt ist Gott, er ist Heilung und die Antwort. Der Gott von Abraham, Isaak und Jakob. Geliebtes Israel, vertraue ganz auf ihn. Er schlägt die Feinde in die Flucht und gibt dann den Sieg. Der Bund mit seinem Volk besteht immer vor Gott und er hält sein Wort in Ewigkeit und so lang gibt es Hoffnung.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you very much.
So, René Sharon ist die Assistentin
René
und Direktor
Sharon
des
is the assistant of Christian Alliance Caucasus. So she's working in the Knesset, and she's going to share in a moment what she's working. So she's going to come to the front in a moment, and then Robert Ilatov to present him. So Eli, please come to the platform. We're happy that you're here. Thank you.
Brush up on my German every time I get to come to Tübingen.
Also jedes Mal, wenn ich nach Tübingen komme, habe ich die Gelegenheit, mein Deutsch wieder etwas aufzupolieren.
Now I know Dankeschön and Entschuldigen.
Inzwischen kann ich das also alles sagen.
I'm so happy and grateful to be back in Tübingen again with all of you.
Ich freue mich so sehr, wieder hier in Tübingen sein zu können, mit euch allen zusammen.
First, I would like to, of course, thank Pastor Jobst and Charlotte Bittner.
Und zuallererst würde ich natürlich gerne Pastor Jobst und Charlotte Bittner danken.
And the entire March of Life team for everything that they've done and the gracious and warm hospitality that you have all shown us since we've arrived.
Und auch dem ganzen Marsch des Lebens-Team und mit aller Wärme und Gastfreundschaft, mit der sie uns aufgenommen haben, seitdem wir gekommen sind.
So the last time that I was in Tübingen was about a year ago, and that was really the time when I learned and really understood what the March of Life is all about.
Also das letzte Mal, als ich hier in Tübingen war, das war etwa vor einem Jahr, und das war der Zeitpunkt für mich, dass ich wirklich verstanden habe, worum es beim Marsch des Lebens überhaupt geht.
And since then, I've had the pleasure of meeting with Pastor Jobst and Heinz and the whole March of Life team in Jerusalem.
Und seit dieser Zeit hatte ich die Gelegenheit und das Vergnügen, mich mit Pastor Jobst und Heinz und dem ganzen Team in Jerusalem zu treffen.
And we've discussed even more ways that the Christian Allies Caucus and the March of Life can work together.
Und dann haben wir über weitere Wege gesprochen, wie eine Zusammenarbeit zwischen dem Christian Allies Caucus und dem Marsch des Lebens möglich ist.
And I must say that the March of Life and all of the people who are involved in its activities never cease to amaze me.
Und also was ich wirklich mal sagen muss, ist, dass der Marsch des Lebens und alle, die da mitarbeiten, die hören nie auf, mich immer wieder zu überraschen und zu erstaunen.
The March of Life looks at conventional ways to learn about the Holocaust and to remember and to advocate for Israel, and they say, no, that's not enough.
Der Marsch des Lebens sieht sich die herkömmlichen Arten und Weisen an, wie man Gedenken begehen kann, wie man selbst für Israel aufstehen kann und seine Stimme erheben kann. Und sie sagen, nein, das ist nicht genug.
It's not enough to simply say that anti-Semitism is wrong, and it's not enough to simply tell people why they should stand for Israel.
Es ist nicht genug, einfach nur zu sagen, warum Antisemitismus falsch ist oder warum sie mit Israel stehen müssen.
The March of Life takes action.
Der Marsch des Lebens wird selbst aktiv,
By bringing people out into the streets,
indem Leute auf die Straße ruft,
so that the world will make no mistake.
damit die Welt sich nicht täuschen kann.
We will not accept anti-Semitism.
Wir werden keinen Antisemitismus akzeptieren.
We will not accept anti-Israel propaganda and demonization.
Und wir werden keine Propaganda gegen Israel und keine Dämonisierung Israels akzeptieren.
And we will stand united with a strong message. Never again.
Und wir werden gemeinsam aufstehen und die starke Botschaft vertreten. Nie wieder.
The March of Life and the way that you support Israel through remembrance is so powerful.
Und der Marsch des Lebens und so wie sie für das Gedenken stehen, wie sie für ihre Unterstützung Israels stehen, das ist so stark.
You take your devastating lessons from your past and you apply them to our future.
Sie nehmen ihre zerstörerischen Lektionen der Vergangenheit und wenden sie an für unsere Zukunft.
By sharing your stories and taking a stance and not stopping just there, but continuing to march forward with that stance.
Indem sie ihre Geschichten erzählen und dabei aber nicht aufhören, sondern einen starken Stand einnehmen für Israel und in dieser Überzeugung dann auch noch nach vorne gehen.
The solidarity that you have with the Jewish people and the state of Israel is beyond commendable. And I want everyone here in this room tonight to know how much it personally means to me and to the people of Israel.
Und ihre Solidarität mit Israel und mit dem jüdischen Volk geht über alles Empfehlenswerte hinaus. Und ich möchte einfach, dass Sie wissen, wie viel mir ganz persönlich und dem Staat Israel ihre Unterstützung und ihre Liebe bedeutet.
I myself am a descendant of a Holocaust survivor.
Und ich selber bin Nachkomme von Holocaust-Überlebenden.
And although my grandparents are not alive today,
Und obwohl meine Großeltern heute nicht mehr leben,
if they were, I would insist that they join me at a March of Life event.
also wenn sie noch am Leben wären, dann würde ich darauf bestehen, dass sie einmal mit mir auf einen solchen Marsch des Lebens gehen.
And the truth is that they probably wouldn't believe their eyes,
Und also in Wahrheit würden sie wahrscheinlich ihren eigenen Augen nicht trauen.
but they would most certainly be moved to tears by your passionate commitment to the Jewish people and the state of Israel.
Aber sie würden höchstwahrscheinlich zu Tränen gerührt sein, wenn sie eure Leidenschaft sehen, wie hingegeben ihr an das Volk Israel seid.
The March of Life makes sure that our history will never be forgotten.
Der Marsch des Lebens stellt sicher, dass unsere Geschichte niemals in Vergessenheit gerät.
You make sure that this message is spread all over the world and that the promise never again is upheld.
Und ihr stellt sicher, dass diese Botschaft weltweit gehört wird und dass die Botschaft von nie wieder auch wirklich Bestand hat.
And for this, the people of Israel are eternally grateful.
Und dafür ist das Volk Israel ewig dankbar.
It's because of this idea that the March of Life embodies is why the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus is so enthusiastic about all of our opportunities to work together.
Und weil der Marsch des Lebens eben genau dafür steht, hat auch der Christian Allies Caucus so eine Begeisterung für die Zusammenarbeit und ist so heiß dahinterher, mit euch zusammen etwas zu machen.
So, as some of you may know, the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus was established in 2004 in the wake of the Second Intifada.
Und wie einige von Ihnen vielleicht wissen, wurde der Christian Allies Caucus im Jahr 2004 eingerichtet, so in der Folge der zweiten Intifada.
At an extremely difficult time in Israel's history where we were experiencing terrorist attacks on an almost daily basis, nation after nation was stepping away from Israel.
Und zu einer extrem schwierigen Zeit, wo Israel fast täglich unter terroristischen Attacken zu leiden hatte, war es auch noch so, dass eine Nation nach der anderen immer mehr sich zurückgezogen hat und ihre Unterstützung Israels eingestellt hat.
However, there was one group that stood by Israel regardless of nationality.
Aber da gab es eine Gruppe zu der Zeit, die stets an der Seite Israel gestanden hat, und zwar egal, aus welcher Nation sie kamen.
And that group was Christians.
Und diese Gruppe waren Christen.
For you.
Ihr.
The government of Israel recognized this amazing cooperation and this amazing love coming from our Christian friends, and they decided to establish the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus.
Und die israelische Regierung hat das erkannt, was für eine unglaubliche Unterstützung und was für eine gewaltige Liebe von unseren christlichen Freunden Israel entgegengebracht wird. Und deswegen wurde der Christian Allies Caucus in der Knesset eingerichtet.
And the objective is to create relationships and communication between the government of Israel and Christian supporters of Israel all around the world, just like all of you sitting here tonight.
Und das Ziel der Sache dabei ist, einfach Kommunikation und Beziehung möglich zu machen zwischen den christlichen Unterstützern und dem Staat Israel und Leuten eben gerade so, wie ihr hier heute Abend zusammen seid.
Today, the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus is comprised of 18 members of Knesset from 7 different political parties.
Und heutzutage setzt sich der Christian Allies Caucus in der Knesset aus 18 Abgeordneten von 7 unterschiedlichen Parteien zusammen.
This is a huge accomplishment and a true testament to the gratitude of the government of Israel for your support.
Und das ist eine gewaltige Leistung und ein wirkliches Zeugnis für die Dankbarkeit, die die Regierung Israels für all eure Unterstützung empfindet.
Since the establishment of the caucus, we have launched 35 other Israel Allies caucuses in parliaments all over the world.
Und seit der Einrichtung des Knesset Christian Allies Caucus haben wir 35 andere solche Ausschüsse eingerichtet, und zwar in Ländern weltweit.
We work with grassroots Christians and parliamentarians in order to accomplish what we call faith-based diplomacy.
Und wir arbeiten da mit ganz normalen, bodenständigen Christen, so von der Basisbewegung zusammen, aber auch mit Abgeordneten, um eine glaubensbegründete Diplomatie einzurichten.
And tonight we are very, very lucky to have with us the chairman of the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus.
Und heute Abend haben wir das große Vorrecht, den Vorsitzenden des Knesset Christian Allies Caucus bei uns zu haben.
Now, we have a lot of activities going on all the time, but MK Ilatov chose to come to this event because of how important he believes that it is.
Und wir haben also wirklich viel, was die ganze Zeit los ist, und viele Beschäftigungen. Aber der Abgeordnete Ilatov hat sich entschieden, ausgerechnet hierher zu kommen, einfach um auszudrücken, wie wichtig ihm das Ganze hier ist.
Member of Knesset Ilatov is a representative from the Israel Beitenu party.
Und der Abgeordnete Ilatov ist ein Mitglied von Israel Beitenu.
And he's currently serving his 4th consecutive term in the Knesset.
Und er wurde zum 4. Mal in Folge in die Knesset gewählt.
In addition to serving as the chairman of the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus,
aber er ist nicht nur der Vorsitzende des Christian Allies Caucus in der Knesset,
MK Ilatov also serves in the subcommittee for foreign policy and public relations,
sondern er dient auch noch im Unterkomitee für Außenpolitik und Öffentlichkeitsarbeit.
And as the chairman of the High Tech Caucus and the caucus that fights delegitimization efforts towards Israel.
Sondern er ist auch noch zusätzlich der Vorsitzende des Ausschusses für die Hightech-Industrie und des Ausschusses zur Bekämpfung aller Delegitimierungsbemühungen gegen Israel.
So now it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce you to my good friend, member of Knesset, Robert Ilatov.
Und deswegen ist es meine Ehre und meine große Freude, meinen guten Freund, Abgeordneten Robert Ilatov, hier vorzustellen.
Thank you very much.
Vielen Dank.
I tried to speak Hebrew here, but I understand that it's a little bit hard, and I'll suggest to make a deal.
Hätte ja vorgeschlagen, hier Hebräisch zu sprechen, aber ich habe gehört, das ist so ein bisschen schwer zu verstehen. Deswegen schlage ich vor, wir machen einen Deal.
I'll learn German.
Ich lerne Deutsch.
And you will learn Hebrew.
Und ihr lernt Hebräisch, okay?
I think it's a good deal.
Ich glaube, das ist ein guter Deal.
Good evening, dear friends.
Guten Abend, liebe Freunde.
Pastor Jobs and Charlotte Bittner.
Pastor Jobs und Charlotte Bittner.
Mr. Yechiel Alexander.
Herr Yechiel Alexander.
Mayor Boris Palmer.
Oberbürgermeister Boris Palmer.
And your wife.
Mit Ehefrau.
Rabbi Nathaniel Worsmer.
Rabbiner Nathaniel Wurmser.
Mr. Gottfried Buller.
Herr Gottfried Bühler.
Mr. Edward Quirch.
Herr Edward Zwerz.
Mrs. Bożena Garzałowski,
Frau Bożena Garzałowski,
Lev and Nina Lerner,
Lev und Nina Lerner,
and guests from the Jewish community of the Reutlingen,
und auch alle Gäste der jüdischen Gemeinschaft Reutlingen
and those watching at home via live stream.
und alle auch, die zu Hause über Livestream zugeschaltet sind.
First of all, thank you for inviting me to join you at this special event and for your warm hospitality.
Zuallererst herzlichen Dank für die Einladung zu diesem besonderen Event und für Ihre Wärme und Gastfreundschaft.
As the chairman of the Knesset Christian Alliance Caucus, I work to create and strengthen a network of Christian and Jewish believers supporting the existence of Israel as a Jewish state.
Und als Vorsitzender des Christian Allies Caucus in der Knesset arbeite ich daran, ein Netzwerk christlicher und jüdischer Gläubiger aufzubauen und zu stärken, die den Staat Israels als jüdischen Staat unterstützen und fördern.
Christian supporters of Israel are some of the most important allies Israel has today and a work to raise awareness about the extraordinary support Israel receives from its Christian friends around the world.
Christliche Unterstützer Israels gehören zu den wichtigsten Verbündeten, die Israel heute hat. Und meine Anstrengung gilt vor allem der Bekanntmachung der außerordentlichen Unterstützung, die Israel von seinen christlichen Freunden weltweit erhält.
We gather here tonight in Tübingen, Germany, where the March of Life movement was established 10 years ago.
Wir haben uns heute hier in Tübingen in Deutschland versammelt, wo die Marsch des Lebensbewegung vor 10 Jahren gegründet wurde.
Throughout the past decades, since this special movement has been established, March of Life has been held in more than 300 cities and 14 countries around the world in the cooperation with Christian and Jewish communities who support Israel and value the importance of Holocaust remembrance.
Im Verlauf der letzten 10 Jahre, seit Gründung dieser wunderbaren Bewegung, haben Märsche des Lebens in Zusammenarbeit mit jüdischen und christlichen Gemeinschaften in mehr als 300 Städten und 14 Nationen weltweit stattgefunden, die Israel unterstützen und die die Bedeutung des Gedenkens an den Holocaust zu würdigen und zu schätzen wissen.
I stand here today moved by your support and commitment to the Jewish people and to the state of Israel, and I honor your readiness to convey a message of hope and truth to the world, which is imperative in these trying times.
Ich stehe heute hier und bin sehr bewegt von Ihrer Unterstützung und Ihrer Hingabe an das jüdische Volk und an den Staat Israel. Ich ehre Ihre Bereitschaft, die Botschaft der Hoffnung und Wahrheit in die ganze Welt weiterzutragen, was in diesen schwierigen Zeiten umso wichtiger ist.
The central objective of the March of Life is Holocaust remembrance, learning from the past in order to inspire a more hopeful future.
Das wichtigste Ziel des Marsch des Lebens ist das Gedenken an den Holocaust, aus der Vergangenheit zu lernen, um Inspiration für eine hoffnungsvollere Zukunft zu bringen.
Unfortunately, this practice of learning from history's evil practices is not seen consistently around the world. There are still places in the world today where anti-Semitism exists, and in some places it is even gaining momentum.
Leider ist dieses Lernen aus dem Bösen der Vergangenheit nicht überall auf der Welt anzutreffen. Es gibt heute immer noch Orte, an denen es Antisemitismus gibt. Und an manchen Orten wird er sogar immer noch stärker.
The familiar elements of anti-Semitism that were imposed on Jews during the Nazi regime are slowly creeping their way back into various societies around the world. In addition to the individual attacks on Jewish communities around the globe, there is now a new way to be anti-Semitic by targeting the Jewish state.
Die bekannten Elemente von Antisemitismus, die den Juden während der Nazi-Herrschaft auferlegt wurden, sind wieder dabei, in die verschiedensten Gesellschaften weltweit vorzudringen. Zusätzlich zu den einzelnen Angriffen auf jüdische Gemeinschaften auf der ganzen Welt gibt es jetzt eine neue Art des Antisemitismus, nämlich gegen den jüdischen Staat vorzugehen.
In an attempt to delegitimize Israel, people around the world and international governing bodies like the UN are denying Jewish ties to our ancestral homeland and to our sacred and holy capital of Jerusalem. In the UNESCO resolution passed this October is a propaganda tactic used to deceive the world about Jewish history and to demonize the Jewish people, a tactic not unlike those used by the Nazis after their rise to power.
In ihrem Versuch, Israel zu delegitimieren, verleugnen Menschen weltweit, ebenso wie internationale Organisationen, wie zum Beispiel die UNO, die jüdische Verbindung zu unserer angestammten Heimat und zu unserer heiligen Hauptstadt Jerusalem. Die Resolution der UNESCO, die letzten Oktober verabschiedet wurde, ist nichts anderes als ein Propagandaschachzug, um die Welt bezüglich der jüdischen Geschichte zu täuschen und das jüdische Volk zu dämonisieren. Das ist eine Taktik, die sich nicht allzu sehr von der unterscheidet, die die Nazis nach ihrer Machtergreifung nutzten.
The BDS, Boycott, Divestment and Sanction movement, is another example of how Israel's enemies use propaganda to demonize the Jewish state and try to convince people to reject Israel. Make no mistake, the call to boycott Israeli companies, products and culture is a systematic attack against the Jewish people, because an attack on Israel economy is attack on Israel's right to exist.
Die BDS-Bewegung, das steht für Boykott, Desinvestitionen und Sanktionen, ist ein weiteres Beispiel, wie die Feinde Israels Propaganda einsetzen, um den jüdischen Staat zu dämonisieren und die Menschen dazu zu bringen, Israel abzulehnen. Täuschen Sie sich nicht. Der Aufruf, israelische Firmen, Produkte und Kultur zu boykottieren, ist ein systematischer Angriff gegen das jüdische Volk. Denn jeder Angriff gegen die Wirtschaft Israels ist ein Angriff auf Israels Existenzrecht.
Just as Nazis tried to blame Jews for all of the problems in the world, today the world tries to demonize the Jewish people by claiming that Israel is the cause of all the problem in the Middle East. As a result of the Arab-Israel conflict, this is the big lie and the world must know the facts.
Gerade so wie die Nazis versuchten, den Juden die Schuld an den Problemen dieser Welt zuzuschieben, versucht die Welt heute, das jüdische Volk zu dämonisieren, indem sie behauptet, Israel sei die Wurzel aller Probleme im Nahen Osten, die nur ein Ergebnis des arabisch-israelischen Konflikts seien. Das ist aber die große Lüge und die Welt muss die Fakten hören.
In the nearly 70 years of Israel's existence and the Arab-Israeli conflict, the total number of people killed, Jews and Arabs combined, is around 100,000. This includes the over 10 aggressive wars waged on Israel since its establishment, as well as the cycle of intifada attacks that Israel experienced terror on a consistent basis. However, since the establishment of the State of Israel, the number of innocent Muslims who have been killed at the hands of Muslims extremists is higher than 10 million. In the past 5 years, in Syria alone, more than 500,000 Muslims have been murdered by Muslims. 11 million have been displaced and 6 million have become refugees. Despite these concrete facts, anti-Israel propaganda would have you believe that Israel is the problem?
In den fast 70 Jahren seit der Staatsgründung und des arabisch-israelischen Konflikts sind etwa 100.000 Menschen dabei umgekommen, sowohl Juden wie auch Araber. Dabei sind sowohl die mehr als 10 Angriffskriege eingeschlossen, die gegen Israel seit seiner Gründung geführt wurden, als auch die immer wiederkehrenden Intifadas, in deren Verlauf Israel beständigem Terror ausgesetzt ist. Auf der anderen Seite beträgt die Zahl der unschuldigen Moslems, die seit der Staatsgründung Israels von muslimischen Extremisten getötet wurden, mehr als 10 Millionen. Allein in Syrien wurden in den letzten 5 Jahren mehr als 500.000 Menschen ermordet. 11 Millionen wurden vertrieben und 6 Millionen Menschen wurden zu Flüchtlingen. Trotz all dieser nachprüfbaren Tatsachen versucht uns die anti-israelische Propaganda einzureden, dass Israel das Problem ist.
In today's world, government leaders are instructing their citizens to boycott Jewish products, and international governing bodies are trying to demonize the Jewish people and convince the world that Jews have no historical tie to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem or their ancestral homeland of Judea and Samaria. These are practices too similar to those from the Nazi era.
In der heutigen Welt weisen Regierungschefs ihre Bürger an, jüdische Produkte zu boykottieren, und internationale Institutionen bemühen sich nach Kräften, das jüdische Volk zu dämonisieren und die Welt davon zu überzeugen, dass die Juden keine historische Beziehung zum Tempelberg in Jerusalem oder ihrer angestammten Heimat in Judäa und Samarien haben. Das ist eine Vorgehensweise, die sehr ähnlich dem ist, was während der Nazizeit geschehen ist.
We are headed down a dark road that is all too familiar to the Jewish people when a country like Iran promises to annihilate the Jewish state, then proceeds to found terror network in Lebanon and Gaza in order to keep true to their promise and the world remains silent.
Wir sind auf einer abschüssigen Straße unterwegs, die den Juden nur allzu vertraut ist, wenn Länder wie der Iran schwören, den jüdischen Staat zu vernichten und dann auch noch Terrornetzwerke im Libanon und Gaza finanzieren, um ihr Versprechen einzulösen, und wenn die Welt dazu schweigt.
In the 1930s, the anti-Semitic implementation of the Nazi regime targeted Jewish people. Today, anti-Semitism is aimed directly and purposefully at the epicenter of the Jewish essence and existence, the state of Israel.
In den 30er Jahren haben sich die antisemitischen Maßnahmen des Nazi-Regimes gegen das jüdische Volk gewandt. Heute wendet sich Antisemitismus unmittelbar und mit voller Absicht gegen das Epizentrum des jüdischen Seins und Daseins, gegen den Staat Israel.
This modern trend of antisemitism is penetrating the fabric of humanity all over the world. We must confront this threat head-on, as these trends are exactly the practices that preceded the Holocaust some 80 years ago.
Dieser moderne Trend des Antisemitismus ist in das Wesen der Menschheit weltweit eingedrungen. Wir müssen dieser Bedrohung direkt entgegentreten, weil dies genau dieselben Dinge sind, die vor etwa 80 Jahren dem Holocaust vorangegangen sind.
But I have not lost hope. It's movement like the March of Life that reaffirm my belief that the fight against the anti-Semitism will prevail. Your efforts to raise awareness about the history of the Holocaust through your unique experiences have proven effective. Just look at the crowd sitting in this room tonight.
Aber ich habe die Hoffnung noch nicht aufgegeben. Es sind Bewegungen wie der Marsch des Lebens, die meine Überzeugung bestärken, dass der Kampf gegen Antisemitismus erfolgreich sein wird. Ihre Anstrengungen, das Bewusstsein der Geschichte des Holocaust durch ihre einzigartigen Erfahrungen wachzuhalten, sind äußerst wirksam. Sehen Sie sich doch einfach nur heute Abend mal um, wie viele Menschen hier versammelt sind.
I encourage you to continue this important work, continue to speak out in newspapers, on television, on the radio, on the internet. Continue marching in the street for the fight against antisemitism.
Ich möchte Sie ermutigen, mit dieser wichtigen Arbeit weiterzumachen. Erheben Sie weiter Ihre Stimmen in Zeitungen, im Fernsehen, im Internet. Gehen Sie weiter auf die Straße, um Antisemitismus zu bekämpfen.
When you hear calls to boycott Israel, say no and confront these anti-Semitic attempts to destroy the Jewish state by doing exactly the opposite. Encourage your community to strengthen ties with the State of Israel, invest in Israel, encourage cooperation in the fields of high-tech and development that will benefit the world for generations to come.
Wenn Sie Aufrufe zum Boykott Israels hören, sagen Sie nein und konfrontieren Sie diese antisemitischen Versuche, den jüdischen Staat zu zerstören, indem Sie genau das Gegenteil davon tun. Ermutigen Sie Ihr Umfeld, die Verbindungen zum Staat Israel zu stärken, in Israel zu investieren und die Zusammenarbeit im Hightech-Bereich und Entwicklung zu stärken, die der Welt noch in künftigen Generationen nützen wird.
Speak up and share the truth about Israel.
Erheben Sie die Stimme und erzählen Sie die Wahrheit über Israel weiter.
Tell the world about the tiny startup nation that has created technological advances in the field of medicines that have saved lives internationally.
Erzählen Sie der Welt von dieser kleinen Start-up-Nation, die technologischen Fortschritt im medizinischen Bereich hervorgebracht hat, der auch schon international Leben gerettet hat.
Tell the world about the humanitarian efforts of the Jewish state bordering Syria that has open field hospital to treat refugees feeling religious persecution and war.
Erzählen Sie der Welt von den humanitären Leistungen dieses kleinen jüdischen Staates an der Grenze zu Syrien, der Feldlazarette eröffnet hat, um dort Flüchtlinge zu behandeln, die vor religiöser Verfolgung und Krieg geflohen sind.
Tell the world about the only country in the Middle East that maintains a vibrant democracy and that uphold gender equality, freedom of speech and freedom of religion, rights that do not exist in most of Israel's neighboring countries.
Erzählen Sie der Welt von der einzigen Nation im Nahen Osten, in der es eine blühende Demokratie gibt, in dem auf Gleichberechtigung der Geschlechter geachtet wird, in dem es ein Recht auf freie Meinungsäußerung und Religionsfreiheit gibt. Alles Rechte, die in den meisten Nachbarstaaten Israels nicht vorhanden sind.
And most importantly, come to Israel. Your event, the March of the Nation in May 2018 will bring together thousands of people from countries all over the world to unite in Jerusalem. This is a true fulfillment of biblical prophecy. The nations coming up to Jerusalem and standing strong with the people of Israel. This event will be an inspiration of generations to come, and I look forward to being a part of it together with you next year in Jerusalem.
Und was am allerwichtigsten ist, kommen Sie nach Israel. Ihr Event, der Marsch der Nationen im Mai 2018, wird Tausende von Menschen aus aller Herren Länder zusammenbringen, die in Jerusalem zusammenkommen werden. Das ist buchstäblich die Erfüllung von biblischer Prophetie über Nationen, die hinaufziehen nach Jerusalem und die dort mit dem Volk Israel zusammenstehen. Dieses Event wird eine Inspiration für künftige Generationen sein. Und ich freue mich sehr darauf, gemeinsam mit Ihnen daran teilzunehmen. Nächstes Jahr in Jerusalem.
I believe that through our joint efforts, we will be successful in spreading the truth and combating anti-Semitism. We have 6 million reasons to do it.
Ich glaube, dass wir durch unsere gemeinsamen Anstrengungen erfolgreich die Wahrheit verbreiten und Antisemitismus bekämpfen werden. Und das müssen wir auch. Wir haben 6 Millionen Gründe dafür.
Tonight, looking around this room, I see people of faith whose support for Israel is strongly rooted in our belief in the Bible. It says in the book of Genesis, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. Christians have bestowed their blessing on the Jewish people, and I believe that God will bless you together with us in return.
Heute Abend, wenn ich mich hier in dieser Halle umschaue, sehe ich Menschen voller Glaube, deren Unterstützung für Israel in ihrem Glauben an die Bibel verwurzelt ist. Und in 1. Mose lesen wir, ich will die segnen, die dich segnen, und verfluchen, die dich verfluchen. Christen haben das jüdische Volk gesegnet. Und ich glaube, dass Gott nun im Gegenzug sie gemeinsam mit uns segnen wird.
Thank you for your prayers and thank you for standing with Israel. God bless you.
Vielen Dank für alle Ihre Gebete.
Thank you very much.
Vielen herzlichen Dank.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you very much, Robert Ilatov, for this word. The word curse has a Hebrew root, to be indifferent, to not care. So we don't want to be indifferent in the face of our history. And I remember that while Robert Ilatov was speaking, something that Angela Merkel said, and she said in the Israeli Knesset that the right to exist is part of German reason. So we want to stand with Israel, and we want to be on the road together, and we want to do everything so that many, many people will come to Jerusalem 2018. And we are so grateful for the cooperation, Christian Alliance Caucasus. We want to work with you. Give them a big hand, Robert Ilatov. And you see that they are doing here the play and the stage, so it's going to be the first time for the guys playing it here. So it's a scenic reading, so it's Play Me the Song of Life. It's the book from Angela Krumpen, and I want to share the story real quick. So especially for tonight, prepared here, a 10-year-old violinist is fascinated from the music of Schindler's List. So Judith wants to understand this music to be able to play it, so she gets to know Michael Emge, and he's a violinist who is the only one from his family who survived the Holocaust. And he shares his life story. So students and teachers made this play from the book, and it's going to be played for the first time. And they made a trip to Poland before that, and they dealt with the story of the Shoah in a very special way. And we're going to see it in a short moment, and then we're going to watch the play. Isn't it too hot for you, Mr. Emge? No. We can sit inside in the cafe if you want to. No, I really enjoy the fresh air out here. And besides that, we would miss the girl. What's her name? Judith. She should be here anytime. Her qualifying exams were supposed to go to 12. Cologne Conservatory, you said, right? Yes, if everything works out well, she could start her pre-studies soon. So, in her age, it's a real genius. Her mother doesn't like the word, but yeah, she's really talented.
Hallo Angela.
Hi Angela. Hi Judith.
Hallo. Ja, schön dich zu sehen.
It's great to see you. So this is Mr. Emge, whom I told you about. Oh, Mr. Emge, hi. Oh, it's nice to meet you. How did your exams go? Well, I think pretty good. I was very nervous in the beginning, but when I played Bach, I was pretty relaxed. How was your interview? So Mr. Emge told his story live in the radio interview. It was very moving. But you're going to hear it soon, so please sit down. I ordered espresso for you. That's what you wanted, right? Oh yeah, definitely espresso. This age, aren't you too young for that? Well, I don't know. I really like it. Now and then, she's allowed to drink a small cup. You're different than other 11-year-old girls. How come that you're interested in the past? Isn't that too hard for you? It's because of Perlman. Itzhak Perlman? the violinist.
Wegen der Geige.
He is her role model because of that violin. I heard his film music from Schindler's List, and I had to understand what happened back then to play the music. She's been reading a lot about the Holocaust. But I don't want to read about it only, but I want to speak to someone who was in a concentration camp.
Okay,
Okay,
das können wir gern
we
versuchen.
can try.
Ich habe etwas dabei.
I have something with me. What is it?
Das
This
ist meine Geschichte.
is my story.
Ich habe auch
You know,
Geige gespielt.
once I played violin too.
Eines Tages
One day, I was 5 or 6. We were visiting an uncle.
ich war ein neugieriges
I
Kind. Im
was,
Salon lag diese
I
Geige
wanted
auf
to
dem
know
Tisch.
everything. There was a violin on the table. The ornaments
Geigenkasten funkelten.
on the violin case were shimmering,
Zog mich dieser Kasten
and magically I was drawn to the case. Breathless, I opened it, took the violin,
und das Kinn gelegt,
placed it under my
den Bogen in die
chin,
rechte Hand und
took the bow into my
los ging es.
right hand, and I started.
Keine Ahnung,
I had no
wie das
idea
geklungen haben muss.
what it must have been sounding like.
Alles um mich herum
Everything
habe ich
around me I forgot,
völlig versunken.
totally
in mein
immersed in my first concert.
Bis auf einmal mein
Till suddenly my
Onkel
uncle stood in the door frame and said,
"Du hast
"You have
großes
great
Talent. Du
talent.
wirst
You will
Musiker werden."
become a musician."
Ich bekam einen Privatlehrer
I
in einer kleinen
got a
Stadt
private teacher in a small village 40 kilometers from Krakow, Bochnia. My teacher was excited about me, and my parents had great plans for me. Music school, conservatory, concerts. But sadly,
Leider ist ja alles
everything
anders gekommen.
came differently.
Die Deutschen.
The war, the Germans.
Ja. Für mich
In the beginning,
blieb zunächst erstmal alles
everything was still normal.
Geigenunterricht.
I had lessons, I went to school,
Wir
till
gelben Stern
we
tragen
had
mussten.
to wear the yellow star.
Wir sind dann nach Krakau ins
to
Ghetto
Krakow, to the ghetto. Well, we had to move. And shortly before, the Krakow ghetto was locked to the next, to Bochnia. That was where you had violin lessons, right? Yeah, true. Violin lessons I was not able to take anymore. Even my violin I should lose.
Aber wieso? Was ist passiert?
But what happened?
Bevor ich ins KZ
Briefly before I came to Plaszow,
gab es noch eine
into the concentration camp, there was a selection.
haben es genannt
They called it Judenrein, clear of Jews.
Meine Mutter
My
hat
mother
darauf bestanden.
insisted that
Die
time.
Geige aus, sie können wir nicht mitnehmen. Viel zu schwer.
Take the violin. It's way too heavy. But we always could take it with us. Why not this time? This time is different. They will take it away from you, or you will have to throw it away on the way.
Ich den Rucksack mit
Maybe
meinen Sachen
I could leave the
gelassen.
backpack with my things here and take the violin with me. I didn't want to go without my violin. How should I live without it? Because it's not possible. What do you want? What are you going to do if it's cold? Can you wear your violin then? No. So, take your pullover. Hurry, we don't have time to argue.
Traurig
Sadly,
Geige zurück.
I
Als würde ich mein
put
altes
aside
Leben auf
the violin. It was as if I placed my old life on the ground. My ability to be happy. But why did you have to go? What kind of action was that?
Es war schon Spätherbst.
It was late autumn, or maybe start of winter when the horror
Sie
started.
nannten es Judenrein.
They called it Judenrein, clear of Jews. Everything that happened deeply burned itself into my body, my brain, that till the day, precisely I can say what happened that time.
Es war
It was 5 o'clock in the morning and still dark. It was raining. Suddenly, there was noise from every side and crying, out, 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 like rockets. We went out of the beds. My father
Meine Mutter
running to
weint,
the streets, half naked. My mother crying and can't calm herself.
Bruder sie anschreit, kommt sie zu sich.
Only when my older brother screams at her, she comes to it. He is not outside in 5 minutes, is shot. So I hear first shots. We're outside.
Unterwegs zur
On the way to the
Sammelstelle
gathering point, I see Letik, Ukrainian accomplices of the Germans, like Bestien in human shape. They shoot brutally and ruthless on women and on children.
manche wimmern
Some
vor der
whimpering
Stimme,
or calling with quiet voices for help. Nobody dared to help.
wären wir sofort erschossen.
Surely we would have been shot immediately.
Mit der Zeit haben wir alle
After some time, we lost all our feelings. Everybody was only thinking about himself.
3 Stunden
3 hours we were standing at the gathering place
ohne dass irgendetwas
without anything happening, nothing,
geschieht.
nothing at all.
Auf einmal
Suddenly,
werden vorne Tische aufgestellt.
tables are placed in front of us. Selection, it's called. That's what I know.
100 Metern Entfernung.
From 100-meter distance, I hear the commandos. Left, right,
Rechts, links.
right,
Die Selektion
left.
hat angefangen.
The selection started. People either have to go to a
Ich soll zum
big square or a small one. I'm supposed to go to the small one, but for some reason I don't want it. I'm tall. No, you're small. To the left. I am tall. I'm big. No, I'm big. You're small. Okay, go to the right.
Bis spät nachmittags
Till late in the afternoon, they were standing around us, the Letik and Ukrainian guards.
Erst dann haben wir erfahren,
Then we found out we
wir sind die, die
are
bleiben.
the ones who are allowed to
Die
stay.
anderen sind entweder direkt
All the
in
others
Vernichtung
directly
oder ins
went to the concentration camp or destruction.
Es gab
There were a lot of situations like this where I was just lucky.
aus irgendeinem Grund
For some
die
reason,
Entscheidung
I made the
getroffen,
right decisions.
kam jemand zur Hilfe.
Or suddenly someone came to help me. I remember one situation. It was in Plaszow, in the concentration camp. It was selection once again. And I was supposed to be sent to the gas with 700 other children. 2 trucks
Schon voll.
were already full with children.
Auf einmal kommt
And suddenly a
reißt mich
guard
aus der Reihe.
was dragging me out of the row. He was beating me. He was kicking me and brought me to a dog kennel.
Du bleibst hier.
You will stay here.
Ich habe nicht verstanden.
I didn't understand why. Outside there was chaos. Fathers and mothers were throwing themselves in front of the trucks because their children were in there and they wanted to stop them. And over the speakers, you could hear Jewish children, songs and lullabies. Later there was another guard and said to me, "You'd rather sleep here, it's better for you." And that's how I was survived. And it was silent. And only that one song was heard. All the Jews, they knew it.
Mit welche Teiere vermegen wünscht Gott alle Men.
Man kauft es nicht für keine Geld, das gibt mir nur umsonst. Und doch, als man verliert aus euch, Tränen es vergießt.
Zweiten gibt men keinen nicht, es hilft nicht kein Gewinn. Oh, wer es hat verloren, der weiß schon, wo sich jüdische Mame, es gibt nicht besser auf der Welt. Jüdische Mame, hoi weh wie bitter, wenn sie fällt. Wie schön und lichtig ist ein Haus, wenn die Mame ist so. Wie treurig finster wär's, wenn Gott nicht die Reue verloren war. In Wasser, in Feuer, wollt sie gelaufen vor ihr Kind. Nicht halten ihr Teier, das ist gewiss die größten sind. Hoi, wie glücklich und reich ist der Mensch, was hat, als scheine Matune geschenkt von Gott, nur ein altig glückliche Mame. Oi, Mame,
Ich habe damals alles
The time,
so hingenommen.
I just took it the way it was.
Die Gefühle
Feelings,
für dieses Lied,
especially for this song,
sie stellen sich heute gerade mal ein.
only today they are coming. What happened to your mother?
Meine Mutter
My mother
war von Anfang an in dieser
worked in that factory, Schindler's, from the beginning. But that was a lot of kilometers from Plastow, so she wasn't coming back every day. That's why I didn't see her all week. That were terrible hours. Night long, I was laying awake, crying. I was calling out for my mother, but she was not there. And in these moments, where I almost died, that's when I necessarily wanted to see her. What do you mean, dying? Such situation happened again and again in the camp. No normal human being can imagine that. Everywhere, danger and death. Every evening, I was laying in my bed, and my only thought was, one day that I survived, one day more. After some time, I didn't feel anything more, no pity. Many died in my barrack, but there was only emptiness left. And I can't grab this. How did you live through this? The loneliness, the fear, death. If I'd been in a camp, I believe I wouldn't have wanted to live anymore in a hell like this. No doubt, Borschow was hell. But a small piece of heaven I found there. And these greetings from heaven, I thank to the Rosners, the famous Rosner brothers. The Rosners were a musician's family. I had heard a lot from them before the war. And off and on, and Sundays in the afternoon, when we were free, the Rosners placed themselves somewhere in front of a barrack, and they started playing. Henry, he was playing the violin. Wilhelm, called Bill, was playing the trumpet, and Leopold, known as Poldek, he was playing. So the brothers were allowed to make music. That was allowed. But for us, it was forbidden, under death punishment, to even stay there and stand. But I couldn't stand. I had to go. When I heard the Rosner brothers, nothing held me back. I ran out of the barrack. I was running like crazy. And for hours, I would stand there. Everything was forgotten around me. I was like hypnotized. The sounds were stronger than the fear to be caught. Yeah. I would have loved to make music myself. Oh, how I missed my violin. But I could still sing. Nobody could take this away from me. And I was singing all the songs that I know, again and again. And after your liberation, did you make music and play the violin? Yes, in Krakow. My doctor told me that I was supposed to play because of my choking fit. The music was supposed to help me with what I experienced. And somehow it did. When I came to Israel, I played in an orchestra. That was beautiful. So you learned to be happy again with music and your friends there. I wish, Judith, but it wasn't so. I was so sure if I come back to Krakow, then everybody will be happy to see me, receive me with open arms. But it wasn't so. When I said in the country somewhere that I had been in 2 ghettos and 3 concentration camps, I was a person that they didn't wish to be there. Also in Israel, I couldn't stand being. If somebody heard that I'd been in a concentration camp, all the times there came the same questions. How much whistleblowing did you do that you're still alive? And to the nagging ghosts of the memory, to have these accusations and mistrust, all this, that was too much for my devastated heart. And in Germany, as soon as one of the circle friends started talking about the war, the complaints started. We were so hungry. The bomb nights, it was terrible. The time of captivity of war was terrible. Rather I'd not talk about it. So it went on and on. But it was never long, and it was about the persecution of Jews. We never saw anything bad. It's exaggerated. It's all propaganda. I'm saying they only want our money. Once a woman turned to me and is saying like this, "Where were you in the war?" I was in 2 ghettos and 3 concentration camps. Immediately half of the group left. I tried to forget everything, but it was impossible. I couldn't tackle my childhood and my youth, not till today. The wounds are too big, too deep. How often did I ask myself what I would have been without war, without concentration camp, without the horror of my childhood, all that I saw. And all that they say is, it's over. But nobody asked the question how a 16, 17-year-old can live on when he experienced what I experienced. How you can live with horror in your bones and the loss of a whole family. 65 people. I was the only one who survived. Why? I don't know. What for? I can't say. And nobody ever came and said, I'm sorry. Never. This really makes me so sad, Mr. Emge. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. In summer, one of my best friends died, Lissy. We were canoeing, just suddenly like that, and it hurt so much. I'm sorry. Yes, but now I think how must you have felt with 65 people? You should never compare things like this, Judith. I wish all this would never have happened, and I wish I could do something to make it all well, but I know it's not possible. No, that's impossible. But you can take care of the fact that something like this will never happen again. That's possible. That's what I want to do, Mr. Emge. Tell your story, the truth. And remember, with my violin, my friends need to hear, and my friends all need to hear it. Yes, Judith. Call me Jersey. Jersey Gross. That's my real name. Okay, Jersey. Thank you. Thank you for telling me your story. May I play a Jewish song for you that I learned? Only if it's a happy song. Yes, it is.
שבטעים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבטעים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבטעים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבטעים גם יחד איי איי אוי 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 הנה מה טוב ומה נעים או שבטעים שבטעים אחים גם יחד איי איי אוי 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 הנה מה טוב ומה נעים או שבטעים שבטעים אחים גם יחד
Thank you very much for all the team. Give them a big hand. They invested a lot of time to do this. And I don't know how you feel, but for me it's very, very moving to have the life stories and that the young generation is willing to invest with creativity and everything that they have to present this. And we hear the stories of witnesses, and at the same time we see it presented creatively and with song. So we're very moved by this, and I believe it's important to see and hear this so that we keep the memory alive and pass it on, and we never forget what it means, what we read and hear and see in all levels, and are willing to really allow this, even though it's not so easy sometimes. I have something planned with you guys, and all of this, and I think it's what we heard before, also Boris Palmer mentioned it and some of the others. So of course all of this costs money because it's supported with a lot of willingness, but this is not carried by state support, but with a very personal devotion from people saying, we want to bless Israel, we want to support the marches of life, we want to support the cause of supporting Israel. And there is a great willingness to support also financially and carry it financially. So, and I'm not gonna make like a big call for this, but there's only one story that I want to share. And I think it was in Vilnius. We were invited to take part in a memorial service, and I had the honor to be there as a speaker. And one of the other speakers was Charlie Knobloch. So she was the chairman of the central Zentralrat of the Jews. So, and there was a memorial walk, and we were walking side by side, and we were talking about the March of Life. And then she was asking, how are you financing yourself? You're surely financed. And I said, no, we carry ourselves through private action, private help, the willingness of private givers that are really putting their heart into this. And she was really astonished and amazed that it's working like this. And it opened my eyes, and I want to express my gratitude towards all of you who really invest themselves into this. But if you want to be part and if you want to invest into the cause, you are invited to do this right now. And it would really help us. But again, you're totally free to do it. But I want to give you it is in the envelope that is in front of you in your seat. And it's where you can discover it. And so there is a letter and an envelope. And in this envelope, there's a card. And you see a Star of David that is made by human beings, by people. And on this postcard can be seen. And it's on the Tübingen Market Square. Many of you know that on the Tübingen Square there were Nazis marching, and we thought it would be a good sign if we would put a star on David on this. And so this was taking place Hanukkah, and we took a picture of it, and it's really pretty that it's a postcard, and I really like it. So, and we want to give this to you as a memory of this evening. And then there is something second in there, and this is
so here eine, wie nennt man denn das? So
how do you call it? Well, it's like a letter. It's to commemorate, set a sign, and forgiveness. So if you want to support us financially, there is different ways to do this. So the first and easiest is that you take a bill, a note, and you just put money in there. That would be the easiest solution. So just cash money. So this is one. So it's three possibilities to give money. So it's cash money and just put the money in the envelope. Or the second thing is you want to head with money transferring. So you can put it on the piece of paper and also your account dates. And of course, it should be able to be transferred from there. And of course, you can also transfer the money yourself. So if you want to give a certain amount of money, you can transfer it yourself. And we're also grateful for that. So just the way you want to do it. So you can have a short look at it and think a moment of how you want to do it. And then there's something that can rip off. There's something that you can take with you. It's a short memory card of how much money you pledged to give. So you can put the numbers on that sheet. So and I want to encourage you to put something on the sheet of paper if you want that. If not, don't do it, it's okay. Or put some money in the envelope, and we're going to do it like this. So we want to pass around a bucket, and you can put it in there. And we are happy if you do it. So far, so good. So just remain seated very comfortably, and we're coming to the second part of our evening because I saw that our honorary member is here. So we're coming to the second part. So far, maybe. So I have to get my sheet of paper here.
So, dann würde ich sagen,
so then I would say,
dann lass doch mal die
let's,
noch Stifte, ja? Wer braucht noch einen Stift?
Still pens, somebody needs something to write.
Wir freuen uns.
So we're happy.
Darf ich bitten, die Körbe einfach rumgeben zu lassen?
So I want to ask you to pass around the buckets.
So, und dann.
So, and then.
קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית העדפתך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית העדפתך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית העדפתך. אני קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית העדפתך. כי במעק לי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במעק לי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי חסדך גדול עליי, כי חסדך גדול עליי, והצלת הצלת נפשי משאול תחתיה. כי במעק לי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במעק לי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת, האמת.
Vielen Dank, Gudula.
Thank you, Gudula.
So ist eine große Freude und
So it's a great pleasure and a great privilege to call the rabbi of the whole area, Nathanael Wormser. He came here after Shabbat, and we're so happy that you're here. And let's give a big hand to him. And I want to ask you for a word of greeting, please. A warm welcome to you.
Shavua Tov.
A great week to you.
Eine gute Woche.
A great week.
Schönen guten Abend. Ich komme
Good
gerade vom
evening.
Shabbat von
So I'm
zu
coming from the Shabbat from home.
Und möchte aber zuerst gleich diesen Faden
And I
dieses
want to
wunderbaren Liedes
take the thread of the song Katonti Mikola Chasadim,
schnell aufnehmen.
and I want to take that thread.
Ich hoffe, dass wir
I
alle
hope
dazugehören, dass
that
wir
we all
dieses
belong to this,
tiefe Wort mitsagen.
that we can say this deep word Katonti.
Ich bin sehr klein geworden.
I was very humbled. by all these heavenly good deeds that we receive on our personal march of life and also in our time here, and that we can experience. The one who understands what I'm talking about. First of all, thank you for the invitation of the organization. I want to welcome the Chabad of the Knesset of Israel. I want to welcome you, Adon Robert Ilatov. I want to welcome him. I'm really happy. We have many works that we have to do on our way in this life, and this is what I wish for you too. I was sliding in to this very moving play about the life of and the feeling of people that were in the camps, what they experienced. And I'm always bothered by the fact of experienced. It never goes away. It never goes away. It is not something that was, but it is not able to take it away. It's like imprinted into the soul of a human being that was in hell and survived this hell. And our communities here are the glint and the leftovers. And the Jewish communities here are left from what once was. And that's why it's so important to say, Am Yisrael Chai. There is new life. There's a life that goes on. And that is also something that every human being should learn in this world. That he is supposed to live the days that he has in this life and use them to prepare himself for a spiritual world that is waiting for him. In our verse of the week, there is an important accent for a rabbi to share. So there is a word, verse, it's the Mikdash. And you shall make for me a holy sacred place, and I will dwell not only in there, but I will dwell among them. So first of all, that is a duty for the Jewish people. The human beings need something sacred in his world or he's lost. We live in a time where life is threatening to be no longer as much worth as it was. A lot of things have turned very cheap. We take a lot of things very granted and cheap, especially when it's about worth of life. And we have to work hard with all our forces to take care of a society that, again, with all forces, gives value and worth to life. And if a human being builds a small place, a nest, where he understands that not everything is just normal, and not everything is the same and equal and valued the same way, but there is a place in your heart for holy thoughts, for holy deeds and holy works that are separated from the normal life, what the people do and say and work and accomplish, then it is a godly blessing upon you. That is the duty of every human soul in this world. And in this sense, I want to encounter you today. We have a Shoah, and you're in the middle of the program where the Shoah has a very important role. The Shoah is a hard trial, it's a hard time. And the Eternal One may keep the world from hard times. But we are not the ones who are having the roads in our hands. We're not the one who are driving we're not driving the world. We're not the boss. We are only a creation. And that's why we're supposed, everywhere where we are, to take care of the fact of doing good, so that our society and our world would change for the better and be able to face the challenges that lays ahead of it. And I wish you all a great evening. It was great to meet you. And one more thing. Today an important day starts in the Jewish calendar. Zayin Adar, the 7th Adar, is a very happy day because it's the day of Moshe Rabbeinu. And in Jewish communities, always the people that deal with the funerals of people, they have a special celebration because this day is a special day. Because in the Torah, in the end, Genesis, it says of Deuteronomy that they were dealing with Moshe Rabbeinu. So it is katonti michol chasadim, a man who is challenged by the holiness of God, who is also allowing to be tested, doesn't have to fear, but the Eternal One himself will spend time with him. So shalom, all the best, and a great evening to all of you. Thank you, Chief Rabbi. So this is a happy day. And it's from Shoah to new life. So we are so happy and grateful to have Yechiel Alexander with us. Yesterday he told a great part of his story that moved us deeply, how he was in Auschwitz-Birkenau. And in detail, he told us the steps that he walked and he went through. And we asked him to share another part of his story of new life, how he came to Israel. And I believe how he was in even Latrun and the Burma Road. So a big hand to Yechiel Alexander. Let's give him a big hand. We're happy that we have you here. A great week to all of you. A good evening, my friends. Yesterday, I didn't share everything. I didn't end my story, but today I will try to correct that mistake. So the last 7 weeks in Auschwitz, I was like a messenger in the kitchen. That was from the end of November 1944 till the 19th of January 1945. My capo's name was Otto Metzger, and he was a German from Munich.
ובצורה כזו הכרתי גם נער נוצרי צרפתי, שהוא היה שנה יותר בוגר ממני.
And Otto Metzger was a good friend of mine with whom I was working there. And with me also another friend was working, and he was a Christian from France. He was only 1 year older than me.
ואני אמרתי לו, למה אתה היה לו סימן ירוק, לי היה אדום ולמעלה צהוב, בתור יהודי, הוא היה לו ירוק, הוא היה ein Stoller.
And he was jealous of me because I was able to speak German. He hated it and he was not able to do it. And he had a green point, like a green dot, and I had a red one, and above there was a yellow dot, because I was Jew.
אני אמרתי לו שאני יכול ללמד אותו לגנוב, אני הייתי שטולר יותר גדול ממנו בגטו.
Und er hat auch gestohlen, um zu essen.
And he also stole, and I to eat, and I told him that I could teach him because I'd learned it in the ghetto how you could steal.
45 אנחנו ידענו שהחזית מתקרבת מצד הרוסים וגם מצד הלירטן, מצד שני צרפת, בלגיה, והתחילו כבר להגיע גם לגרמניה.
On the 16th of January, we already knew that the Russian front was coming closer, and we also knew that the French and the Americans were closing in.
אנחנו ביום ראשון, 20 לינואר 1945, התחלנו לצאת בתות-מרש, צעדת המוות.
On the 20th of January, the death march started. We started marching.
צעדנו 3.5 יום, ואנחנו ישנו, כל אחד הייתה לו שמיכה, היינו 3, 2 נערים מלודז' והנער משטרסבורג מצרפת.
And we walked a lot, 3.5 days without breaks. We were marching, and everyone had a small blanket. We were 3 young men, 2 from Lodz and 1 from Strasbourg.
אנחנו כבר ראינו בתוך השלג, בתוך הקור, הרבה מאוד, בפרט בעיקר נשים, היו מונחות בשני צידי הכביש. עברנו כפרים, עיירות, והמשכנו לכיוון גלייביצה.
And on the way, we saw a lot of bodies that were laying along the street in the snow, mainly women on both sides of the streets. So we walked through villages and forests.
זה היה כבר 3.5 יום, בגלייביץ הכניסו אותנו לרכבת, דחסו הרבה יותר גדול מאשר מנסיעה מלודז' לאושוויץ.
And so we came to Gleiwitz, and from there we were put on trains, and from there our journey went on.
לפי הרישומים הגרמניים, אנחנו יצאנו מאושוויץ כ-5,600 עד 5,800.
Według tych zapisków niemieckich z Auschwitz wyszło nas z obozu około 5,000. Ich spreche jetzt Polnisch.
I'm speaking Polish. I'm really sorry. I'm so confused. I'm really sorry.
אנחנו היה לנו מזל, קיבלנו קרון סגור עם גג, והיו גם אסירים שקיבלו קרון פתוח. נסענו 1.5 יום עד שהגענו לאוסטריה העילית למחנה מאוטהאוזן.
After the writings, it said that about approximately 5,800 or 600 were on that march, but only a part of them walked to the end. And then in Gleiwitz, we had to go in to the trains, and sadly we had a wagon where there was a roof, and the other had none. So but it was better without a roof.
במאוטהאוזן שוב קיבלו אותנו מצעקות. בתוך הקרון כבר היו לנו גם מתים, בתוך ההפטלינגה. רוב הקרון היו פולנים וגרמנים, היו מעט מאוד יהודים בתוך הקרון. אבל קיבלו אותנו במאוטהאוזן בצעקות, בתללות ובצורה דרסטית גם לא טובה.
So we came to Mauthausen, and from there, again we were received with screaming. It was very drastically that way we were received. And our wagon, there were a lot of Germans and Polish, but not that many Jews.
היינו צריכים להתפשט בגלל שהיו לנו כבר כל מיני דברים בתוך הבגדים. ערומים נכנסנו לתוך המקלחת, לא קיבלנו בגדים.
And we had to undress ourselves because we had tried to take things with us, but we were not allowed to take them. So we had to undress, and naked we entered in there. We didn't even receive clothes.
קיבלנו כל אחד רק שתי שמיכות, התעטפנו בשמיכות ורצנו לתוך הבלוק החדש.
Everyone only received 2 blankets, and we covered ourselves in the blankets and went to our blocks.
היינו 6 ימים בבידוד, אחרי יומיים קיבלנו בגדים. חלק קיבלו את הבגדים שלהם, וחלק קיבלו כבר בגדים חדשים.
We were only there alone for 2 days, and all this time we had no clothes. And only after 2 days, some of us received clothes, some new clothes and some older clothes.
אחרי 6 ימים בבידוד קיבלנו מספרים חדשים. אני קיבלתי מספר 116,507.
And after 2 days, we were like in isolation. And after that, we received a number, and that was my number. And directly after that, we were placed in different camps. And because there were so many Germans in the block, we were sent to another camp that was called Melk.
ואנחנו היינו צריכים לבנות עוד 2 קילומטר. התחילו שם בנו את המיסלס V1, התחילו כבר לייצר גם את ה-V2, V2.
And there were like tunnels, 12 kilometers long, and we were supposed and responsible to dig the other 2 kilometers. And there also weapons were produced and built, what he mentioned. The situation was really bad. In 3 shifts we were working, 24 hours a day. And after 3 days, I wanted to end my own life and run towards the fence and the wires.
Aber diese zwei Freunde, die ich
But these two friends that I had, my Jewish friends, and also Otto, and also my the French boy, a young man, they didn't agree and they didn't allow me to take my own life and run into the barbed wires.
ואז הוציאו אותי מתוך המחנה, תפסו אותי גם עוד פעם שרצו להתאבד.
And then I was taken out of this camp to another camp. And I was captured. And it was sure that I wanted to end my life.
אני חזרתי למאוטהאוזן, וממאוטהאוזן ירדתי לגוזן.
And I came back to Mauthausen, and from Mauthausen, I was sent to Gusen.
בגוזן מצא אותי אינג'ינר, מהנדס גרמני, ידעתי טוב גרמנית, ואמרתי לו אני שלוסר, ואז הוא כיוון אותי למחלקה, איפה שהיינו, היו מייצרים כל כלי הנשק שהשתמשו במלחמת העולם השנייה.
Und dort in Gusen wurde ich von
einem engineer, a German engineer, discovered me, and I told him that I am a good work, and I was sent to a factory where weapons were produced.
איפה שאנחנו היינו רק בודקים את הכלי נשק ומתקנים גם כלי נשק שהיו חוזרים מהחזיתות.
Ich war in einer Abteilung, in der wir nur
I was in an apartment where we were only testing the weapons if they work, or those who didn't work, that came back from the front. We were restoring them and trying to repair them.
הכרתי את כל כלי הנשק שהשתתפו, מנשק איטלקי שהוא היה הכי גרוע, עד נשק אמריקאי שהוא היה הכי מתקדם.
And so I got to know all kinds of weapons, from Italian weapons that were the worst to the Americans that were the most modern weapons.
רובים קלים, רובים אוטומטיים, רובים רוסיים, וגם את כלי הנשק החדש, MG-34 ו-MG-37.
And so I also got to know different weapons, different pistols, also Russian pistols, and all machine guns, 33 and 34 and 37. He's explaining that an MG is a machine gun. And she says, I don't know what a machine gun is. So she doesn't know the area of weapons that well, she tells him.
היה לי גם שם לא טוב, האוכל לא היה משובח, וגם המגורים לא היו הכי טובים, היינו צריכים ללכת גוזן, היו מחנות, כיום זה סתם גיאורגן, היינו צריכים ללכת כמעט כל יום, לעבודה 3 קילומטר, ואחרי עבודה 3 קילומטר.
So it wasn't good for me there. There was not enough food. And every day we had to go to Gusen or St. Georgen today. So we had to walk 3 kilometers and then back the same way.
ואני אעבור כבר לסוף. ב-26 לאפריל 1945
On the 26th of April, I want to shorten this for a moment. On the 26th of April, 1945,
אני כבר הייתי לבד, וראיתי שאוספים אנשים לטרנספורט. היה סלקציה, לא ידעתי
Und dann habe ich gesehen, dass
And then I saw that people were gathered and there was like a selection taking place, and I didn't know where this selection and where this transport would be going.
הגענו בחזרה למאוטהאוזן, ובמאוטהאוזן נגלה לפניי מצב מאוד לא טוב.
Dann sind wir nach Mauthausen.
Then we came back to Mauthausen again, and there again I saw a very, very bad situation.
שאנחנו פה רק יהודים, וגם היו שתי מחלקות של נשים.
Und ich habe gesehen, dass wir
And I saw that we were only Jews there, and there were also 2 departments of women.
אני ידעתי כבר, למדתי את כל הדברים האלו באושוויץ, איפה שנמצאים גברים ונשים ביחד, זה רק למוות.
Und ich habe das schon in Auschwitz
And I already got to know that in Auschwitz, that it's nothing good, because if men and women are gathered together, it only means death.
התחלתי לחפש ידידים חדשים, וזה היה קשה מאוד.
Ich habe angefangen, neue Freunde zu suchen.
I was looking for new friends, but it was very hard.
התחלנו צעדת מוות שנייה.
Der zweite Marsch des Todes hat angefangen.
The second march of death started.
דרך ולץ לגונסקירכן, זה 62 קילומטר.
Wir sind marschiert von
We marched from Mauthausen to Wels and then to Ganskirchen.
Das sind 62 Kilometer.
That were 62 kilometers.
הגענו למחנה שלא היה כלום. היו רק 6 צריפים ומטבח בלי תחתית. מזל שהיו לי 2 שמיכות.
Wir sind zu einem Lager gekommen, in dem
We came to a camp where there was almost nothing.
Ich hatte Glück, dass ich
I was lucky that I received 2 blankets.
עוד מזל, מה שבדרך לא גיליתי, שכל הילדים שהיו איתי במאורר שולה באושוויץ נמצאים פה.
And I had also was lucky that because I saw that all the other children who had been with me in Auschwitz, that they were still there.
שהם היו בזקסנהאוזן, ומזקסנהאוזן הם היו בליברוזה, ועבדו בפינוי ההריסות של ברלין.
And then I realized that they were in 2 camps, in Sachsenhausen and in another camp, and that they were working for Berlin.
המצב רוח שלי עלה כבר יותר.
Mein Gemütszustand hat sich sehr verbessert.
My mood changed to the positive.
בלי רצפה, וזה היה אפריל, סוף אפריל.
And we were sitting in rooms without floors, and it was in the end of April.
לא ראיתי שיש גדרות, הגדרות היו מאוד חלשים, ואולי אני אצליח לברוח. יצאתי החוצה,
And I saw
ראשון כמו שהגענו, ואני רואה מתקרב אליי מישהו עם רובה, אבל היה נדמה לי שאני מכיר אותו.
And then I saw that the fence in this camp was not that big, and I was thinking maybe I will manage and maybe I can flee from here. But then I saw someone approaching me and he had a gun. And that was a friend of mine, and he was also Capo, Otto. And I was screaming, Otto, what are you doing here? And he said, go outside, quickly. The guards. And he was imprisoned there as well. And he said, Hennig, don't eat the soup.
אני לא הבנתי מה הוא רוצה, אבל התחלתי לספר לילדים.
And I didn't know what he wanted from me.
הם לא האמינו לי שאני שמעתי מה שהוא אמר.
Und sie glaubten mir nicht.
And they didn't believe me that I had heard what he said.
שעתיים אחרי זה הוא קרא לכמה ילדים, בגלל שהוא הכיר גם חלק, הוא שאל אותם אם הם ממאמר השולה מאושוויץ, והם ענו לו כן, ואז הוא אמר שיקראו להנק מאמר השולה. אני באתי באחד הקרנר בפינה, הוא זרק לי חצי כיכר לחם.
And then there was a conversation between Yechiel and other children and Otto. And in the end, somebody was throwing a piece of bread for Yechiel. And they said to me, come to the same spot tomorrow morning. At 10 o'clock, I will be back again.
Und dann sagte zu mir wieder, hat geschrien, komm wieder 10 und 10 bin ich hier auch und ich kann dir auch wieder das Gleiche geben. Der hat wieder mir eine Hälfte.
And again, he gave me half of a bread and even a piece of sugar. And he gave me almost every day. He brought me bread. He brought me bread, sugar. On the 4th of May, 45, we saw that all the guards and all the towers of the guards were empty and all the guards were gone and even Otto was gone. So the American army liberated Gunskirchen. And we, the young people, we were almost 200. We started to walk in the direction of Wels. And we were walking and we were hoping to come to the mayor's house maybe, but we were told we would rather not to do it. But then we found a train station. We only received little food from the American army, and we were still forced to steal. And this is what we did in Austria. After 2 days, I got very sick. I had typhus. And in Wels, I was taken into the hospital. And in this hospital, there were doctors, there were Austrians, but also Americans. An American doctor heard that I spoke Yiddish. And he said to me, this is not your place here. And in the hospital I was weighed, and my weight was 27 kilos. And this doctor said to me after 2 days, I will help you and give you medication, penicillin,
Spritzen.
I will give you injections. And penicillin was only for determined or used for the army. And then he said to me, or I said to him, that I have a lot of friends, and he said, come. And he took a jeep, and we went to a train station.
תחתוך את הראש ותשתה את זה. פניצילין היה מיועד לזריקות.
And even though penicillin was supposed to be an injection, he said to me, don't listen to the Austrian nurses and cut open the syringes and eat the penicillin.
היו עוד שני יהודים רופאים וגם רופאים נוצרים אמריקאים עזרו לנו מאוד מאוד מאוד.
And there in this group there were other doctors, American doctors, and also some Christians that really helped us.
מוולץ היינו צריכים להירשם לצלב האדום ולקבל אוכל מהצלב האדום ומהיונייטד ארמיות והתחלנו לקבל, כולם התחילו להיות ידידים שלנו.
And from there, from Wales, we had to go on to the Red Cross, and again we received more, and suddenly we had many friends and helpers.
שגרירות הפולנית שלחה אלינו נציג, שגרירות הקנדית שלחה אלינו נציג, גם אמריקאים רצו.
And the Polish embassy sent a representative, also the Canadian embassy sent a representative, and also the Americans wanted to do the same.
אנחנו לא רצינו אף אחד לשמוע, ידענו שאנחנו יהודים. העבירו אותנו לזלצבורג.
And none of us wanted to hear it. We knew we were Jews, and so we were brought to Salzburg.
היה מחנה מעורב מאוד, הרבה מאוד שפויים מכל העמים.
And in Salzburg, there were also a lot of people that were hurt from various nations.
אחרי שבועיים אנחנו הברחנו את עצמנו לאיטליה.
And there we were for 2 weeks, and then we went to Italy.
באיטליה
In Italy,
התחילו לארגן לנו הבריגדה היהודית, הביאו לנו על יד פלורנץ, יש כפר שקוראים לו פיאזולה, והיה שם מחנה של ההיטלר יוגנד האיטלקי.
and then we were in Italy, and there it started to a Jewish brigade started to form, and we came to a place that used to be a unit of the Hitler Jugend in Italy. It was close to Florence in a village.
הביאו לנו גם בנות והתחילו ללמד אותנו להיות בני אדם. אנחנו היינו מתחת להרגשה של בני אדם.
And then we had teachers, Jewish teachers, and there were other Jewish girls, and they taught us about being a human being, because this is what we lost. We didn't even know how you are a human being. And that took till November, and in November
הבריחו אותם באונייה והם עלו לפלסטינה איי.
Und dann im November eine Gruppe ist von uns.
And then in November, a group of us separated from us and went to Erez Israel, then Palestine, and fled there.
אני התחלתי לעבוד יחד עם המוסד, אם אתם שמעתם. כל ההברחות.
I started working with the Mossad. Maybe you heard about it.
ההברחות שהתקדמו בשביל היהודים שעלו לארץ מאיטליה, אנחנו היינו עסוקים בזה.
And we dealt with the fact of bringing Jews from the different countries to that time Palestine, Israel. So that was my job.
אני הייתי אחראי על הדלק של האוניות ועל הנשק.
I was responsible for the gas boat and the boats and also for the weapons for those who made Aliyah, trying to get back to Israel.
ובש 23 ביוני
The 23rd of June,
Am 23. Juli sind wir mit einem Boot Jesaja
with the boat Isaiah, we came to Erez Israel, to Haifa.
und in Haifa
And in Haifa,
haben uns
the Britons arrested us.
gefangen genommen.
Arrested us.
והיינו מאתלית הסתובבנו בכל הארץ. אני בינתיים הושבעתי להגנה.
Wir waren an vielen Orten.
And we were in many places in Israel. And in this time, I came to the Haganah in Israel. In March
Und im März 48
48,
wurde ich ein Teil von
I was
Palmach.
part of the Palmach in a military operation in Israel.
עברתי את כל מלחמת השחרור.
Und ich war in dem Unabhängigkeitskrieg.
And I was in the independence war.
ב-49 אני בינתיים
49,
עברתי קורס חופשים.
Und in 48
in 48, I went through a course for a medical helper in the army.
בסוף ינואר
And in January,
עברתי בינתיים את כל המלחמה.
Und am Ende Januar,
and in the end of January 49, the war almost had ended, and I was part of it all the time.
והיינו בכיבושים של כל מיני עיירות, ובינואר 49 התחלנו להשתחרר, ואמרו שאנחנו נלך להתיישבות. יצאנו להתיישבות לקיבוץ מלכיה, זה בגליל העליון, לא רחוק מצפת.
And then we were also part of many villages being liberated during that war. And then we moved to the north and we came to a village in the Galilee.
עברתי לקיבוץ גדול, כפר גלעדי, זה על יד מטולה, והתחלתי ללמוד מכונאות.
Then I was in a big kibbutz, and there I started to study. I wanted to become a mechanic.
Traktors, Maschinen.
Von Traktoren, Maschinen.
Ja, da hat meine Heirat.
Heirat noch.
Ja, kurz. Vielleicht fahre ich auf Deutsch.
He said, maybe I'm going to start telling the story in German. In 1953, the 16th of July, I got married. I married my wife, Bella. The 9th of September 1954, my son was born.
Von Malkiel 1955
1955.
und war ich in Nahalal.
I was in Halal, and there I was a teacher of all machines of the agricultural area,
Boys und Mädchen aus lernen, was war
and taught the boys and girls what happened in the war.
in Nahalal.
In Halal,
Und 62
in 62,
mein Sohn Ofer.
my son Ofer was born.
Und 66
And in 66,
meine Tochter.
my daughter was born, Erla.
Ja, in 92
And in 92,
am Meritur, habe angefangen nicht arbeiten.
I finished working,
Das Hana Karkur.
and he moved to Pardes Hanna, I think.
Habe ich zwei
And now I have 2 sons and a daughter, and have 10 grandchildren.
Habe ich schon zwei Enkels geheiratet.
And 2 of my grandchildren already got married, and this year, in September,
Heiratete noch ein Enkel.
1 more grandchild is getting married.
Mein Sohn, der Große, hat auch schon
My son already has a grandchild as well. So I have a great grandchild too.
dem 17. April
And the 17th of April,
2 Jahre.
she will turn 2.
Ja. 1994
1994,
meine Frau Bella fahren nach Polen.
my wife, Bella, wanted to go to Poland, to Auschwitz, to see what it is in Auschwitz and in Lodz, and I took her.
96 war ich
And in 96, I was back there with Bella. And all my children, we were in Poland, in Auschwitz.
alle red. 2 Jahre bevor bin ich
2 years before,
gekommen nach Deutschland.
I came for the first time to Germany.
War jetzt gestern Jahr, vor ein Jahr bevor, war ich
Last year,
in Polen.
I've been 3 times in Poland. 2 years before, I was 5 times in Poland.
Und ich glaube,
And I believe
ich kann noch wieder kommen nach Polen.
that I will be able to go back to Poland again.
Vielleicht
And maybe
von 2 Jahren zurück war ich in Österreich auch.
in 2 years ago, I was in Austria. I never knew the place, and I've never been back. I went to Mauthausen.
Es ist mir sehr schwer,
That was very hard for me for the first time to go back.
meine Deutsch ist nicht so gut.
My German is not so good.
Für viele Jahre nicht gesprochen.
I haven't been speaking it for a very long time and many years.
Meine gute Freund,
And my good friend,
guten Abend.
a good evening to you. And I'm saying,
Nur gesund.
stay healthy.
Nur gesund.
Only healthy. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Yechiel.
Vielen Dank, Jechiel.
Thank you very much, Yechiel. And Igal, please come to the front as well.
Gebt auch Igal,
And please a big hand to Igal, Because without Igal, Yechiel wouldn't be here. And he would have never come to Germany. Thank you that you came. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yechiel, next year, 2018, we have a March of the Nations in Israel. Would you come with us? Are you going to come? Only once for the start, but 24 times he wants to do it. So you want Yechiel to come as well? So the 24th of May in Latrun, we will have a March of Life 2017. So it's Yechiel's birthday. The 19th, he turned 90, so let's give him a big hand for that. And you may be seated, because I want to share a date right now. Oh yeah, Kassia. Kassia really did some good work. Hebrew to German. Thank you, Kassia, very much. And we are almost at the end. Give me 5 minutes for a short announcement. And then something that a lot of you have been waiting. So the March of the Nations in Israel, when it is taking place. From Holocaust to new life. So you want to know it? So from the 13th till the 15th of May 2018. Please, the next sheet. So it's going to start like this. So the 14th of May, we're going to start with that. 2018. So it's the day where the state was founded, the 14th of May. So the March of the Nations is supposed to be there. And from all of the nations, we're calling and inviting, come to Jerusalem. And our friend Robert Ilatov and René, they spoke about it and they invited, so it's a great privilege that we can work together with Helping Hand Coalition and with Global Forum and close co-work with Christian Caucus Alliances. And we're planning it the way like this. So Sunday, the 13th of May 2018, the conference is starting March of the Nations conference. So next year, we're not going to have the March of Life conference here, but the March of the Nations conference is starting there. And we're expecting several thousand participants. And then Monday, the 14th of May, the conference is going to be at 10, 3, 7, whatever time. And then Tuesday, the 15th of May, the conference will end in the morning, and from there we're going to the March of the Nations. It's going to look like this. So please, the next one. So it's going to look like this. The plan is, so this is a plan, so to start at around 3 o'clock at the Sachar Park, to walk through Jerusalem, the old city, and we're planning and wishing to walk out to the Mount Zion and end at the Sultan's Pool. It's a great open air possibility, so 8 till 10,000 people fit in there. So this is what it's supposed to look like. We're in close contact with the government and also politicians and our friends in Israel, with whom we are connected and that are supporting us and backing us up, and we're blessing them and we're really grateful for them. And maybe next we will see how it's going to look, because there's going to be a lot of people coming from America, Latin America, and teams from everywhere. So, and there are different elements, maybe 6th till 12th of May, around the stage before or after 16th till 19th of May. We recommend a tour of Israel after or before. So there will be different options and packages that you can purchase. And then there's going to be a core program from the 13th till the 15th of May with the March of the Nations and the conference. So, my dear friends, I think that was it. Is there another sheet? So we want to encourage you, if you bring a group of 15 people, we will try to make it for free. If you want to go there for free, gather 15 people around you, then you will have a strong perspective. If you have a church with 150 people, then you have 10 places that are free, so you can do business with that. And then stay in contact with the March of Life. So give us your email address so we can give you updates. So we have it on www.mon2018.com. These were all information. I have to say, the excitement is not so big. I would like to hear more from you. Okay. Thank you. And we want to ask you that the dancers to the end of that wonderful evening would come to the front. So we're really grateful for everything, all the parts, and especially the story of Yechiel. Thank you to Robert Ilatorov and Renee. Thank you so much that you came. A warm thank you to Netanel Wormser, Chief Rabbi, that you came. It's really, really nice and it's honoring us. And I want to ask the dancers in the closing to come to the front, please.
Cause fire is burning. Bad news that make you feel like you can be happy. And so I came to make a scream l'chaim. We want to thank everybody for coming out here today. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful event. And hold on for motion sickness, please. Every situation and occupation of all your happiness, just like a wedding or your bar mitzvah, be a bar simcha and shout with thankfulness. Okay, come on, are you ready? Okay, come on, are you ready? Okay, we are locked and steady. 5, 4, 3, you better stand for him. You better rock for him. You better love him, thank him. Everybody now scream l'chaim. Yeah, look, even if the world tells you different, you can attain happiness and change in an instant. Inner peace, real joy, no catch. We live in disbelief cause we ain't been there yet. Check, like Abraham, guided by the kishkis. God brings the outcome, you only need a rib cage. No walls, barriers, and no blockage. Just move straight ahead, don't give yourself an option. Time tick-tocks, and if you ain't gotta watch, then life passes by while forgetting that he's watching. To life, toast to the most high. We celebrating life, so l'chaim worldwide. Okay, come on, are you ready? Okay, come on, are you ready? Okay, we are locked and steady. 5, 4, 3, we gotta dance for him. We wave our hands for him. We better serve him, hear him. Everybody now scream l'chaim.
L'chaim, have a safe trip back home. Thank you for your patience. You don't want to stay seated, right? So the evening ends here. So for all of you invited at 9:30. So the reception is 9:30, and at 11, it's gonna end here. So have a safe trip back home. Goodbye. All of you who were with us on the Facebook streaming, all of you who were listening and with us, have a great evening. Goodbye.